Eric Adams, now the first sitting New York City mayor to be federally indicted.
All right, prosecutors alleging he put his influence up for sale in return for lavish trips and illegal campaign contributions.
So here's what we know right now. Adams is facing 5 charges, including conspiracy, wire fraud, bribery, and illegal campaign contributions by foreign nationals. Prosecutors alleging his actions span over 10 years. Adams is denying any wrongdoing, claiming he has been made a target in a case, quote, based on lies.
This federal corruption case entangling City Hall, leading to at least 8 employees having their homes raided, phones seized, and some resigning from their positions. But today the mayor was the only city official to be indicted on charges.
We have live team coverage with reporters spread out across the city, but we kick things off at federal court tonight, where Morgan McKay heard from prosecutors today. And Morgan, how did they lay out the details of this case?
First, Steve and Natasha, we're learning in just the past 10 minutes that a judge has now handed down an order requiring that Mayor Eric Adams appear in court for his arraignment tomorrow. And we're hearing that will likely happen at noon. Today, federal prosecutors unsealing a 5-count indictment alleging that Adams accepted not only bribes and illegal campaign contributions, he sought after them and was planning to do it again for his re-election campaign.
These are bright red lines, and we allege that the mayor crossed them again and again for years.
U.S. Attorney Damian Williams alleging that Mayor Eric Adams has had a pattern of corruption that goes back nearly a decade to his time as Brooklyn Borough President. Adams is now facing 5 federal charges, including bribery and solicitation of a contribution by a foreign national. Prosecutors allege that Adams took bribes in exchange for favors and orchestrated a straw donor scheme that allowed foreign nationals and corporations to contribute to his campaign. Prosecutors say this scheme allowed Adams to illegally obtain $10 million in public campaign funds and say he planned to do it again.
In 2023, the mayor rekindled these corrupt relationships, seeking more illegal campaign contributions from some of the same foreign sources to support his re-election campaign.
Federal prosecutors also say that Adams received more than $100,000 in perks, like free flight upgrades and luxury hotels from foreign nationals and at least one Turkish government official who prosecutors allege was seeking to gain influence over Adams. Prosecutors allege that Adams started accepting undisclosed travel benefits at least as early as 2016 and then continued to take those perks nearly every year through 2021, which is when federal prosecutors launched their investigation.
Year after year after year, he kept the public in the dark. He told the public he received no gifts, even though he was secretly being showered with them.
In return for these gifts, prosecutors allege that Adams pressured the fire department to rush through their inspections of the Turkish consulate that was being built. The indictment says fire department officials were told by Adams they would lose their job if they didn't follow his order.
The Turkish official sent word to Adams that it was, quote, his turn, unquote, to support Turkey. Just 4 days after Adams held up his end of the bargain, he went right back to soliciting more travel benefits from the Turkish airline.
Now Adams is insisting he has not broken the law, and rather he is now a target of the justice system since he was critical of the Biden administration's handling of the migrant crisis. The White House press secretary today responding to these claims.
The DOJ is handling this case independently. I'm not going to go beyond that.
Williams had one last warning for others in the Adams administration.
We will hold more people accountable. And I encourage anyone with information to come forward and to do so before it is too late.
As of right now, no one else is being charged. I'm now going to hand things off to our reporter, Lisa Evers, who's been camped out in front of Gracie Mansion all day covering Adams. Lisa?
Well, thank you, Morgan. Yes, we have been here outside Gracie Mansion since early this morning. A lot going on here with the mayor. He came out of Gracie Mansion twice, both times with a smile on his face, appearing as if he did not have a care in the world and certainly nothing to worry about with these new federal charges. Now, his attorney, Alex Spiro, is saying that the prosecutors are misrepresenting the facts in order to make the mayor look guilty. Embattled Mayor Eric Adams walked out of Gracie Mansion Thursday morning before the indictment was unsealed, surrounded by dozens of clergy, community, and civil rights leaders in a show of unity and strength.
do not do anything that's going to participate in illegal campaign activity, and I will not do that. And I've instructed, not only in writing, but in verbal conversation to the team, we do not participate in straw donors. We do not participate in foreign donors. We know what those rules are, and we comply with those rules. And I think that my attorneys are going to reveal that as we move forward.
The press conference was disrupted at various times by members of Black Lives Matter New York, who shouted at the mayor on a bullhorn and hurled accusations that he did nothing for black New Yorkers.
You should not be standing for a political candidate.
On one side, the mayor had Hazel Dukes, the sometimes controversial and outspoken head of the National NAACP and a civil rights pioneer.
I come with a heavy heart today.
Yes.
But my head is not unbowed.
All right.
He's going to have his day in court.
Yes.
And we're going to stand by him.
Yes, we are.
We came this morning to pray for him.
Mid-afternoon, the mayor emerged again from Gracie Mansion with his lawyer, Alex Spiro, who slammed prosecutors for trying to spin a story that was not true, he says, in order to taint a potential jury pool.
But they left out something very important, something you'll soon see, which is that there are emails with Mayor Adams telling this staffer, telling all of them, do not take foreign money, period.
Now, the mayor continuing to insist at both of those appearances that he is capable of doing his job as his attorney fights these charges. We're live outside Gracie Mansion. I'm Lisa Evers, Fox 5 News. Back to you in the studio.
All right, thanks, Lisa. Free luxury travel, ritzy perks, and alleged bribes all in that indictment.
Yeah, that's right. Joining us now to break it down for us is Jeremy Saland, criminal defense attorney and former Manhattan prosecutor. Jeremy, it's all here, 57 pages, an indictment, pretty damning details, too. I mean, how straightforward is this indictment?
They clearly did their job and their homework, and they didn't wait till after the fact. They went back in time, and despite what you're hearing from his counsel, Alex Spiro, this is part of this alleged conspiracy and all the things that he did that built up to the actual substantive crime, and he's charged for those crimes all within the past 5 years, but everything is relevant to explain that narrative and that conspiracy.
So, you know, at the heart of this is a campaign finance violation,
Yes.
right? Straw donors, someone has a lot of money, puts it through a lot of small donations, and then how that corrupts the system as charged here is that the city matches 8-to-1 these small donations. So when you read the indictment, it's basically saying they shortchanged the city out of $10 million in matching funds. Is that really the core of this thing and why you think prosecutors may have decided to move forward?
I'm confident that's a big piece of it. And it's also the fact that if you believe, and they prove ultimately, not whether you believe it or not, that you had these straw donors, that he's getting benefits from folks in the Turkish government or, you know, whomever they may be, or private people, to possibly enhance getting the 36-story building and waive some fire codes and influence there. You know, why someone would do this, which is a good defense, and why would I do this for a few dollars on a upgrade in business class? Why would I do this for a few dollars to get a better hotel room? But there's clearly a narrative, and that narrative also demonstrates that there's text messages, and there may be calls too that they're on, meaning the government, maybe even cooperators too, to give you a greater picture.
And I mean, it is really interesting. I mean, reading through the indictment, the U.S. attorney points out Adams' staff tried to avoid charges for expensive trips. For example, they say when the airline manager mentioned the Four Seasons and the staffer said it was too expensive, the airline manager responded, why does he care? He's not going to pay. His name will not be on anything either. So what do you make? How strong is this evidence?
None of that is good. None of that. Even if nothing else has a perception of something improper. But that, again, proof beyond a reasonable doubt? No, that's not proof beyond a reasonable doubt. But it certainly has the appearance. And when you're deleting text, if true, and saying clean your phones in substance, you know, all this points in the wrong direction. And you have to eventually ask, how come you're getting all these benefits? How come you're getting, and for what? For what? So it looks like, again, they've done their homework and added it up in a bad way for the
right. In this case, I mean, the people of New York City weren't getting anything out of this.
No.
He was, you know, as
which
charged.
makes it interesting, and you know, it's been brought up. A government of another nation can influence and do business with the government of a state. That's fine, but the beneficiary should be the state of New York. It should not be the mayor personally of New York.
Yeah, and just briefly talk about his lawyer. This is a high-profile lawyer. Elon Musk, Bob Kraft, you name it, he's represented him.
Baldwin.
Yeah, just got enough charges.
Alex Brow is certainly a known commodity. He's a former Manhattan prosecutor like I was. He tends to be more bombastic, and you heard from what he was coming out and saying, I'm being, for lack of a better term, dirtied up. I forgot to draw a blank on the term.
Tarnished, yeah.
Tarnished, thank you. Tarnished, and making it the sort of the Donald Trump 2.0 attack. This is beyond the scope, which is, again, a fair argument, but they're doing this to me because it's me and they don't want to get me. They want not to get me. And that's not what you do. Fight the case, fight the allegations. Don't attack the process.
Yeah, we're going to have to leave it there. We do appreciate your perspective as always. Thank you, Jeremy Sallin.
Thank you.